Hello, Instagram. How are you? Hello, 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 Facebook. Hello, whoever's joining me here. So I wanted to just jump in today and say welcome. I really want to share with you about how we move through confusion, because this is something that comes up quite a lot for the people that I work with, especially when we're trying to decide what is it that we want to move forward with in our life. Okay, so I'm just trying to see if I can see any comments here. So yeah, welcome. This is about being confused about your next step. Okay, so there's lots of different types of confusion. Sometimes we have, old age confusion, or we have medical related confusion or mental health related confusion. And today I'm not going to talk about that kind of confusion. I'm going to talk about when we feel like we don't know the answer to something and we feel stuck where we are. And this comes up a lot when we are talking about what should we do with our lives, how do we step into purpose. And even when we do a lot of work on this, we do a lot of self-inquiry, we can still get to this point where we just say, I'm confused, I don't know, I just don't know what it is I'm here to do or what I should do to take the next step. So I just want to let you know that confusion is actually a way that also keeps us safe. And that might feel a little bit confronting for some people, because I know you're probably thinking, I can't help it that I'm confused. I can't help it that I don't know. And maybe that's true, but it is a very subconscious way of stopping us moving forward, because we tell ourselves that we're confused and we don't know the answer. So we don't actually have to move forward. So we stay where we are, which is nice and safe. Because if we could decide and we could move forward, then we would be getting exposed to rejection or judgment or criticism or all those things that we fear on the other side of our decision. So today I wanted to share with you a few questions that you could start to ask yourself to help you move through these times when you feel stuck and when you tell yourself you don't know the answer. So Tony Robbins says the quality of your life is based on the quality of your questions. And for me as a coach, that is so true, because sometimes we get stuck in asking ourselves bad questions. We get stuck in asking, what's wrong with me? Why does this always happen to me? I don't know what I'm meant to do. I don't have the answers. So what I really want you to do is start to ask yourself better questions, because that can really help you to start to move forward. So some of the questions that you could start with, I'm going to share with you 3 questions that can help you move through confusion when you're thinking about what is it that I'm here to do? How do I step into purpose? What's my next move in life? Or maybe it's in some other aspect of your life right now where you're feeling some resistance or stuckness and you're feeling stuck in the confusion of it. So the first answer that you might say is, I don't know what to do, or the statement that you say. So my first question would be, if you did know, what would you do? Okay, so if you did know the answer, what would you do? And you could just write that down, whatever comes through to you, okay? And the next one is, what is one imperfect step that I could take today that would move me forward in some way? Okay, so we get stuck when we try to do everything perfectly, and we get stuck when we are believing that we have to have everything lined up to be able to take action. I'm really encouraging you to ask, what can you do that's imperfect? And it can be the tiniest step, because one of the greatest ways to get out of confusion is to take one tiny step that feels manageable for your brain. Because one way that we get into confusion is when we feel overwhelmed, when it's too big a question, too big a task, too big a decision. So bring it right back and say, what's one imperfect step I could take today? And then also just stepping a little bit more into vision or into possibility with these questions is, if I had all of the time, all of the resources, all of the money, all of the support that I needed to make the next step, what would I do? Okay, so get into the energy of possibility, because when we get stuck and confused, it's when we've lost all our ability to create possibility. So that's something that I really want you to think is, if there were no limitations, if there were no barriers on me, what would I choose to do? And sometimes you might notice that you've actually just stopped trusting yourself. You know, we have these life experiences and events and this inner critic, and we've stopped just trusting our gut and trusting that we do know the answers to things. So sometimes it's just reminding yourself, you do know all the answers. You know yourself better than anybody else. And it is uncomfortable to make a decision, and it is easier to stay stuck in confusion because it's a place of safety that we learned from a long time ago, that it's safe to be confused. So those are my questions. I'll just remind you again, if you did know what to do, what would you do? What is one imperfect step that you could take today that would just move you forward in the tiniest way? And the last one is, if you took away all the limits, if you had all the money, the support, the love, the time, what is it that you would do? So I hope that helps you. Really, this is just one of the places that we get stuck from stepping into our purpose and taking action. There is a whole array that we all have that keep us where we are. And if you're wanting more support on getting some traction, on moving forward, on finding your path, stepping into your Dharma, or just making that next move in your life, I'm really wanting to invite you into my 3-day free workshops that's coming up at the beginning of July. Just head up to my bio or the links below, and I'm going to go much deeper into all of this. We're going to talk about purpose. We're going to talk about vision. We're going to talk about how you get traction and some of these blind spots where we're staying where we are, for things like, you know, confusion, or there's a whole array of beliefs that we have that we can't even see are holding us back. So if that sounds like you, I'd love to see you there. I'll be able to give more of my time and energy and hopefully answer some of your questions. So take that one imperfect step today and just sign up, and I'll see you in the next couple of weeks. So thank you so much. Drop any comments below, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.